Let's take a look at the React application that we brought in more depth. This React app was created with the help of the tool Create React App, and it has a very similar folder structure if you've created applications with the tool Create React App before. The entry point of our application is going to be the index.js file within the source folder. At the moment, it's just rendering a component called root. At the moment, all this root component contains is a div with the text root, which is what we're seeing when we visit our index page. However, this root component is going to soon contain all of our routing. There'll be two main routes within our application, one for the root route for the home route, which is what we're currently on, and then another route for a custom profile page. So every user is going to have a profile page which can be visited by going to the route /profile/the user's ID. Say, for example, it's 2. So we have two main routes within our application, and our app is also going to be protected with a register and login page. Now, this isn't going to be served on a separate route exactly. It's just going to be preventing users from seeing the contents of the home page. So if a user's unauthenticated, they'll see a register or login component, and they can only visit our app when they actually log in or register. So index is our entry point, root is for routing, we have a pages folder, and these two components within pages correspond to what's going to be displayed for each of our routes. For the root route, we're going to display the app.js component, and for the profile page, for each user's profile page, we're going to be using this profile.js component. Now, what about the authentication related code? Well, if we dig into components, we see there are 3 subfolders, one of which is auth, so that's all authentication related stuff. You can see there that we have some components for logging in, for a login form, for a register form. There'll be a component for a sign out button, so authenticated users can sign out. Then within this shared folder, we have some shared components where we have a header for displaying on all pages, some loading and error components for those respective states, as well as an audio player component that's actually going to allow us to play audio tracks that we've uploaded. And then finally we have a track folder, which corresponds very closely to the orientation of our GraphQL backend. So remember that we had full CRUD functionality for our tracks, and note that there are components that are called appropriately create track, update track, delete track, track list for reading, for seeing all of the tracks that users have posted, in addition to like track for create like, and search tracks for giving us our full text search that we added. At the moment, all of these components are just returning a div with the component name, and we're going to do the work of adding all of the functionality for them. And the last thing to note about our project is styling. I've taken care of all of the styling for you. I want us to focus specifically on building out all of the features, all of the tools that this application is going to have, and not focus on its appearance. In order to make our application look nice, I've used the library Material UI. It's a component library for React apps, and Material UI gives us the ability to inject a theme, a specific color theme, to our application with the help of this with root component. For the app, I've chosen the base colors indigo and orange, and I've provided them as our primary and secondary colors by creating a Material UI theme. So indigo is the primary color and the secondary color is orange. And with the help of this with root higher order component, it's injecting our theme and giving us some baseline styles with the CSS baseline component. And in order to apply the contents of with root to our project, we just need to wrap it around our root component as well as our main auth component. And finally, all the styles for the project are going to be provided with the help of this styles object or function. I've created individual styles for you within these objects, Each of these objects have a property name, and we can use them to style our project with the help of this WithStyles higher order component. It wraps both this styles object as well as the component that we're exporting down here at the bottom. So WithStyles wraps both the styles function as well as register, and that enables us to, within the component itself, within this register component, destructure from props this classes property, and it enables us to use these individual objects as class names. So for example, to use this root style, we can just go in and say class name is set to classes.root. So out of all of what I've just said, you can take away two things. Number one, WithRoot enables us to inject some base styles and a theme into our project, and in order to use styles listed within the styles function provided in every component, you just need to use the classes object that's being put on props to set an individual element's class name, starting with classes dot and then whatever the name of the particular style is.